I mean, the comics are breaking records. I can't believe this movie is still slated. Let's get into it. Another week, another list. Gem, what's cooking?
You know what's cooking? These 10 books, sourced from a much larger list on Key Collector app, the runners-up, the honorable mentions with the one record-breaking sale to report on.
Hit the like, slap the subscribe button, and at the list at number 10, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man issue number 6, debuting in 2006, the first appearance of El Muerto, the Luchador, and his antagonist in cameo, El Dorado.
Back in April of 2022, Deadline reported that Latin superstar Bad Bunny was slated to portray this character in a Sony standalone film.
This book is piping hot. It was on the trending list just last week, and we were talking about record-breaking sales hitting $250 for a CGC 9.8. And in one short week, we were seeing an increase of copies sold of 600% and record-breaking sales in the same grade.
Bad Bunny is a huge name, but I just cannot see Sony making this movie. I mean, didn't they want to make an Aunt May movie as well? Anyway, that news propelled the CGC 9.8 of this book to sell for $350, 40% above its $250 prior record.
We also saw another sale in between us covering this last, selling for $325. Keep this in mind, a word of caution. There are only 23 copies currently graded on the CGC census at a 9.8 of this issue, and I'm seeing so many members find this book in dollar bins. This was a book that no one was specking upon. I suspect that these census count numbers are gonna shoot way up really soon.
Speaking of shooting up, number 9 on the list, we have Daredevil 25, the first appearance of Vincent Patilio, better known as LeapFrog.
Now, we saw LeapFrog in the most recent She-Hulk episode, and he made a mention multiple times that his father was the one that made so much possible for this antagonist. Well, we're seeing his father's first appearance in comic book Spike this week, largely because of She-Hulk.
This would also be the first issue where Matt Murdock creates a secret identity, his twin brother, Mike Murdock, which would become a real person utilized even in Chip Zdarsky's most recent run.
That's right. It started back with Charles Soule in 2018's Daredevil 606, and this fake secret identity actually manifesting to an actual person would indeed be utilized in Chip Zdarsky's run. And ironically, the photo we have from the Chip Zdarsky run is Daredevil 25.
Same issue, different volumes, and we're talking about a CGC 9.0, which sold for $175 back in 2020, up 89%, now selling for $331.
What'd you think of Eugene Polito's appearance as the son of the first LeapFrog in She-Hulk? Jem, week over week, I am still astounded that anyone dislikes this show. I feel like the hate's coming and I don't care.
I'm with you. I'm enjoying it. I wonder if we're going to see the first meeting of Daredevil and She-Hulk on this list.
Well, I can tell you, this is the year of the first meetups. Stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, and we have Dell Giant 48 making the list, the first appearance of the Flintstones in comic books.
Last week, we were talking Looney Tunes. This week, we have the first comic book appearance of the Flintstones. Now, this was optioned back in 2019, which never manifested, but there's clearly interest in bringing back OG cartoons.
We just saw a trailer for the Velma HBO Max cartoon, a riff on the Scooby-Doo lore, geared for a more mature audience. Clearly, these production companies are interested in taking those OG cartoons and providing them to a new audience, a more mature audience, and this book is very tough in any grade, let alone high grade. There are only 3 9.4s that exist, 6 9.6s, and 3 9.8s.
There have only been 2 public sales of this book in a 9.8. The high sale back in November of 2010 sold for $5,676. The last sale was February of 2013, selling for $2,629. But we're here today for the 3.0, which broke record, selling for $150 back in 2021, up 117%, selling for $325.
There are only a total of 57 slabs registered on the CGC census. Scoring this book for under $500 at a 3.0 sounds like a good deal to me. Next at the list at number 7. I mean, we're talking the year of meetups. Daredevil 196, debuting in 1983. The first meeting and team up of Daredevil and Wolverine.
Both in the MCU, at least for now. We know that Hugh Jackman is going to finalize his role as Wolverine in Deadpool 3, but we're probably going to get another one, and they're probably going to meet up, which makes this book of significance. A CGC 9.8 sold for $350 back in April. It's up 51%, now selling for $528.
This is also the first appearance of Lord Darkwind, the scientist who invented the process of adamantium being bonded to bones. Well, Charlie Cox's Daredevil maintained long enough for us to see the introduction of what could be the next Wolverine in the MCU, with Hugh Jackman saying farewell to the role. Time will tell. At the list at number 6, another first meetup that's major in the MCU that you know is going to take place. Daredevil issue 171, the first meeting of Daredevil and the Kingpin.
We've seen Vincent D'Onofrio reprise his role in the Hawkeye series. Charlie Cox is back in the MCU, teased briefly as Matt Murdock in Spider-Man No Way Home, and now in full Daredevil garb. The yellow suit in the most recent episode of She-Hulk. These two are likely to meet, and this CGC 9.8 just broke record, selling for $355 back in 2021, up 55%, now selling for $552.
And the important meetups didn't end there. Just this past New York City Comic Con, Vincent D'Onofrio visited artist David Mack to say hi, to give him some kudos. You know they're good friends, and it's great to see them together.
Moving on to number 5, we have We Live, issue number 1, the Metal New York Comic Con exclusive.
This debuted back in 2021 at New York City Comic Con. The 9.8, last selling in January for $390, was outdone by an increase of 74%, selling for $680. There's only one 9.9 that exists and 19 9.8s. A total of 23 copies are graded on the census. These metal covers preserve the comic book so well that they're almost always high grade.
And recently, the creators of this book, the Miranda brothers, teased a Netflix logo hinting at the future of We Live. Now, We Live issue 1 has a ton of copies. A CGC 9.8 only goes for $82, which is why you see collectors going for the more scarce metal cover.
And at the list at number 4, we have some major scientific news being discussed. We have robotic companies making a pledge that they will do everything in their power to prevent their robots, their highly specialized machines that works with military, from becoming weaponized.
Well, Elon Musk has warned us about AI, so let's hope that those companies stick to it, because number 4 on the list is RoboCop, issue 1, the first comic book appearance of RoboCop.
This is larger than a standard-sized comic book, making it tough and high grade. It's a one-shot, and we have a 9.2 to report on, and we've heard rumblings of a RoboCop sequel, television show, but nothing is confirmed as of yet.
Back in September 2020, we had news that MGM greenlit a screenplay, but it's been 2 years and nothing since. Either way, a CGC 9.2 broke record, selling for $105 back in December, up 400%, selling for $525.
This is one of those surprising keys that members need to know of, and I encourage them to download the best comic app in existence to keep up on things like this. Key Collector Comics, utilize code TOM101 to access the larger list we source these comic books from, but also get access to a wealth of comic book key knowledge. There are only 14 slabs of this book on the census. That tells me that a lot of people don't know about it, and they're probably missing it in those dollar bins. There's only one 4.0, one 5.0, one 7.0, one 9.0, two 9.2s, one 9.4, two 9.6s, and a lonely 5 9.8s.
I think it's smart to get into this book now before there are any official announcements and before the robots take over.
At the list at number 3, we have Monsters Unleashed, issue number 3. Debuting in 1973, The Origin of Man-Thing, the first reprint of Savage Tales number 1, the first appearance of Man-Thing.
Man-Thing making every list from the Hot 10 to the trending, now here on the honorable mentions, stealing the show during Werewolf by Night, and we have a 9.8 record breaker to announce.
$233 this sold for back in 2010. It's up 222%. Tough and high grade. There are only 52 slabs on the census and only 4 copies graded at a 9.8. The new record is $750. Can I get a hot damn in the comment section?
And this is the first time this book has sold in a 9.8 in 2 years. Also, make sure to check out the Hot 10 list to see where Man-Thing issue 1 ended up.
And now at the list at number 2, Adventure Comics 247, the future of superheroes in the DC universe. We're talking the first appearance of the Legion of Superheroes. A show slated for HBO Max was announced, but no news. And in my book, no news is good news.
That's right. We've had so many WB cancellations. If we haven't heard anything, fingers crossed that the Legionnaires will still appear on HBO Max. Brian Michael Bendis posted the 3rd draft just months ago. A CGC 2.0 broke record, tough book in any grade, selling for $1,737 back in March, up 38%, now selling for $2,400.
This is a tough book. I mean, there's only 431 currently listed on the CGC census, 1 at 9.6, 1 at 9.4, 2 at a 9.2, and 1 sale of a 9.2 that took place back in 2009 for $17,777, a strong number that was over a decade ago.
Before we jump into number 1, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Tom just celebrated his 55,000 subscriber milestone. Congratulations. Hit that like button and then swing on over to my channel,
where you just hit 150,000 subscribers. Congratulations, Gem. Comic fam, you gotta join the Geminites. And at the list at number 1, Foom Magazine, issue number 10. Debuting in 1975, a preview of the new X-Men team that is rumored to have been debuted before Giant Size X-Men number 1. However, very likely that it wasn't.
A preview book that came out after the actual first appearance, but I can see if you already own a Giant Size X-Men 1 and you want to collect something that goes with it, Foom Magazine's got you covered, and we have a CGC 9.0 that broke record, selling for $927 back in 2022, up 159%, selling for $2,400.
Giant Size X-Men 1 is said to have a publication date of May 1975. The newsstand on sale dates are rumored to have been even earlier than that, as early as February, where Foom 10 has a cover date of June 1975. No matter which way you cut it, Foom came out likely after Giant Size. If only we could go back to 1975. We appreciate your time today, comic fam. As always,
geek responsibly and stay minty fresh.
Enough said. Join myself and all my friends on the best new place to buy and sell collectibles. You know it. We've been telling you about it. It's called Whatnot. We do dollar start auctions that last as little as 15 seconds long. We do claim sales over there. We do giveaways and so much more. We drop exclusives. We break out the keys. We have a lot of fun, and you can join us. Live selling is such a great way to interact with the comic fam. Join us there by clicking the link in the description, and we have 2 other videos for you to check out. We made them for you. Have a great week.